examples for just the general graphing intuition behind end behavior and turnarounds. So say we have a polynomial that's like x cubed plus x minus 5. Well, we just got to look at the highest degree term, x cubed. And when we plug in, say, like a large positive number, so say we plug in x is 100. Or not, let's just say we plug in x is 10. Then we get all the way up to, well, 10 cubed is like 1,000. So like 1,000 plus 10, so it's really just around 1,000. Because everything else pales in comparison to like 1,000. So we're somewhere up here. And when we plug in like a negative 10, it's pretty similar, except negative 10 cubed is negative 1,000. So we look like this. So, and there can be two curves, or two turnaround points. So maybe we look something like this. Let's try another. Let's try, how about x to the 6th minus 5x squared plus 4. Well, again, we just look at the highest degree term, and when we plug in a positive number like 10, then this term becomes positive. It's really big, 10 to the 6th, that's 1,000,000. So we're somewhere around up here. And when we plug in negative 10, well, since that's an even power, any negative raised to an even power just goes back to positive because negative signs cancel out. So we end up having something like this. And so this is kind of like a parabola shape, maybe, but with more turns. How do we get the number of turns? Well, we just look at 6 minus 1 is 5. 5 turnaround points. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, maybe something like that. Let's try one more to try to throw you off here. What if we have something like x plus x cubed minus 5 plus x fourth? Well, we look at the highest degree term, which is not the leftmost term this time, it's the rightmost term, it's x to the 4th, that's the highest degree term. And then we can think, well, when we plug in like 10 for x, then we get, this comes out to a big positive number, so we're somewhere up here. When we plug in a negative number, well, to the 4th power, it still comes out positive, so we're still somewhere out here. How do we get the number of turnaround points in the graph? Well, that's one less than the degree. So 1, 2, 3. So maybe it looks something like that. Two more tricky ones. Let's do 2 more. Now, suppose we have something like x to the 5th, negative x to the 5th plus x to the 3rd minus 2. How do we draw that? Well, we got to look at the x to the 5th term because that's the biggest one, and this time when we plug in positive 10, we get a really big number, but it's negative because there's a negative in front of it, so now it looks like here. So actually got negative 100,000 here when we plug in 10. Remember, we're just forgetting about these terms because like negative 100,000 dominates the entire polynomial. Like who cares about minus 2 when you're already this low? It's like if you're minus $100,000 in debt and then you spend $2 on a thing, you're just kind of like, oh well, can't really go too much lower from that. Now, at negative 10, you are up to about 100,000, positive 100,000, because x to negative 10 to the fifth is negative 100,000, but we got this negative in front. So now we're all the way up to 100,000. And if you have $100,000 and you spend like $2 on something, again, it doesn't really matter so much, just kind of pales in comparison. And how many turns do we have? Well, we look at the 5, and we've got one less turn than that. So 4 turns. So maybe we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So maybe it looks something like that. One more example to finish it off. Maybe we've got, so we've got a negative x to the third minus x to the fourth plus 5. What is the highest term here? Well, that's the negative x to the fourth. So think about drawing this. You plug in 10 here, you plug in negative 10 here. Well, 10 comes out to a really big number, but this is negative. 10 to the fourth is positive, but this negative sign makes it negative, so we're down low here. And also, with negative 10 to the fourth is also positive, but we've got this negative sign here, so we're down low again. So how many turns do we have here? Well, we look at 4. 4 minus 1 is 3. We have 1 less than 4. So we've got 3 turns, potentially. 3 is the max that it can have. So maybe it looks like 1, 2, 3. Maybe something like that. Oh, actually, you know, I can already tell this is probably not the best picture because when you plug in 0 for x, you should get 5 out, right? So the y-intercept should be at 5 somewhere. So maybe it looks like 1, 2, 3, something like that. But don't worry about that for now. The point is just to get kind of intuition for end behavior and term around